Okay, hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to Easy Markets Daily Pitch International with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 14th of December, 2023. So, welcome, everyone. Welcome to this Thursday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendations and should not be considered as such. This material should not be taken as an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. Look, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest. I'll disappear from that little left corner and I'll be back in a bit. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the chart, just a quick mentioning of our Easy Markets website, which you can always check out for more information about us. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to us. So now then, let's see what's happening with the market here, guys. So yes, absolutely. Let me just quickly save this I think that needs to be refreshed a little bit here. There we go. So look, Nikkei 225, and as we know, yesterday, I mean, the madness continues in the US and European indices. I mean, wow. Talk about wow. Yesterday we had Mr. Powell delivering interest rates, and kind of then having the press conference, the last one for this year, and yep, that was a bomb. And anyway, I'll get to US indices in a bit, but looking at Nikkei, Nikkei is not really moving to the upside. What's interesting? So, look, in a way, maybe that could be related to the fact that the data didn't come out very well. I mean, we got some industrial production. Actually, the industrial production came out good. Okay, so yes, okay, right. Sorry, I think that the issue here is that recently the talks of BOJ potentially going into positive territory for interest rates, that might have put a little bit of pressure on the Japanese stock market. So basically that's something that may be sustaining kind of the the index from pushing higher, and because there's the fear that higher interest rates will happen. Because look, Japanese inflation started picking up. I mean, it's pushing to the upside, and this is what the BOJ is kind of afraid of a little bit. So and that's where they started having these talks that potentially we could see some rate hikes in the future, or in 2024. So yep, that's why for now I would say just keep an eye on that, wait for it. Let's see what's going to happen here, and let's apply technical analysis as well in addition to fundamental. But what I can say here is so far that these two trend lines, which are both on the little bit on the tentative side, both are doing a good job and providing a good hold up. Now, what I said to you previously, that in order for me to go lower, drop below the 100-day EMA here is required. China 50, there we go, continues to slide. I mean, this is just very, very interesting. I cannot say either way. I mean, tomorrow we do have some data coming out from China. We do have also the industrial production. I mean, there's a bit of a data dump as well. So Chinese unemployment, retail sales, all together, everything's coming out together. So yeah, look, at the moment, I would say that if you're looking for some lower levels, I mean, this is exactly what I was talking about before. So I needed to see a drop below that 11,158 territory, which is the lowest point of 2022. So in order for me to go further south, and so far we are seeing exactly that happening. So yes, let's continue targeting the downside, but only I will aim for this little area right here somewhere near the lower side of the, well, this is another thing. I mean, I want to say it's a falling wedge, but at the same time, it's kind of almost like a falling channel as well. So, yeah, I mean, it's a little bit, how to say it, tricky. Now, let me just redraw this a little bit because I want to see if this is going to work or not. Because, look, I mean, it's a little bit on the tentative side. Maybe it should be drawn this way. And if it's drawn this way, then maybe we have ourselves something like this. Right. Okay. Look, I think that this is more of a, yeah, more of a falling channel than a wedge. So maybe let's get rid of this line here, and I will get rid of this line here as well. So we do end up having something like this basically. And yes, there could be some more downside, and initially I will target the lower side of this falling channel pattern, and then we'll go from there. In order to consider the upside scenario, a push back above the 11,400 zone here would be required, at least for now. Maybe I'll revisit, I mean, I'll relook at this maybe later on, but at this point, that's the hurdle that I'm looking at. ASX 200, so there we go. We broke the upper side of the rising channel. Okay, that's great. And now the question here for me is that I mean, we broke the upper side, we broke the downside line, so everything's just kind of, you know, working out beautifully here for this index. We did get some data this morning as well, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check very quickly. Yes, we had the Australia's employment numbers. So employment change improved, participation rate improved, unemployment rate fell. So, okay. But still, I think that the aftermath of the Fed's kind of positivity, or should I say, not maybe positivity, but you know, future rate cut idea, plans, or should I say plans more, then yes, that's kind of sparking positivity in the stock market. So long story short, look, from the technical perspective, my question right now is, can we stay above this downside line? If we can, yes, I will continue targeting the upside. But if we cannot stay above this downside line, then maybe ideally I would like to see maybe a bit of a retracement here back down. But again, honestly, this has just been an animal. I mean, I'm not talking about other animals, which I'm going to get to in a bit, but this one was also, yes, I mean, had a good run to the upside. So yeah, now we're watching this downside line, this drawn from the high of the 4th of February of this year. So let's keep an eye on it, and let's see if we can stay above that downside line today. So Dow Jones Industrial Average, guys. So let me just say good morning in the chat room. Good morning, everyone. Yep. So now then, what's happening here? Basically, we reached the all-time high. I mean, wow, we reached the all-time high. We've cleared it, and we continue to push. And we also climbed for the first time above the 37,000 mark. By the way, I'm looking at my futures here. So yes, we climbed above that. So the question for me is now, can we see a further move north? Now, in general, I would like to see a correction, because this is just insane. I mean, look, I understand that the market is positive and the market is enjoying the potential idea of lower rates in the future, but like almost 15% from the end of October, just in a matter of this. I mean, okay, look, I think I need to grab a bigger chart. Let me just grab one of these. Where's that trading view chart? There we go. So let me just jump into a monthly chart here, and let me just adjust there very quickly. There we go. So we cleared the barrier and we stayed above the 37,000 mark. I mean, this is just insanity. Look at this. Look at this move. Look at this strong push to the upside. And the question right now is, can we see a further move north? Well, to be honest, I mean, well, it's a yes, we can, of course, yes, we can, but will we stay above this area at the end of this month? Will we stay above the 36,952 territory? That's a good question. I mean, in general, we are seeing, yes, we are seeing some positivity. Further upside here is possible. Of course, everybody now starts to talk about that psychological 40,000 mark. I mean, okay, that's possible. That's possible to do, but it's just maybe a bit of a retracement first to get a bit of a breather, because look, I can see that the bears are still sleeping, right? I mean, they're still sleeping. The bulls continue to charge, but I get it. It's like everybody's hyped about interest rates and stuff like that, but look, when we had this big decline in the start of pandemic, okay, that was understandable. Then, everybody readjusted everything, and then they thought that, hey, look, okay, that's absolutely fine. I mean, we will recover everything what we lost, and that was logical. And from there, we kind of then rallied. Let's say we recovered everything, and then we corrected back down. We kind of created this double top, and everybody was thinking that, oh, this is going to end up being as a double top. We could see a drift back down, and we corrected back down a little bit. Let me just quickly check how much. About around 23.6, and then we reversed and started pushing to the upside. So basically, from this reversal right here in October of 2020, since then we've made around 40%. Yep, 41% here again. So, and that was in a matter of how many date range? Let me just, in a matter of 16 months, or let's say 15 months, right? 15 months. Now, what are we having here? I mean, are we gonna repeat the same scenario? I mean, are we gonna go just up and away? Well, that's a tricky one, of course. I mean, right now, everything's looking quite positive here, and everybody's really enjoying the moment. But can we stay above this, above this territory, above the previous all-time high? And let me just jump back into my chart. So another thing is, like, look, yes, the economy is doing well. It seems like that, but no, economy is not really doing well. Inflation continues to drift. Look, I don't want to be a pessimist or anything. I'm just trying to be a realist. And if you are suddenly expecting, let's say, 3 cuts by mid-summer or mid-June of next year, and look, this is where we are currently. So we currently are around in the range of between 525 to 550. In March, we are expecting a cut. That's almost 73% expectation for a rate cut in March. Then in May. So basically, the next three, starting off from March, and then May and June. So 3 months in a row, or should I say 3 meetings in a row, we will see cuts, because in May, they're expecting another cut of 25 basis points right here, 72%. And in June, they're expecting another cut, 66.6% right now. So basically, 3 rate cuts all the way. So, okay, I get it. You're trying to stimulate the economy. But my question is, why? I mean, are you thinking that the economy is not doing well, and that's why you're trying to be ahead of the game? You're trying to kind of throw out the stimulus out there. Is that the situation, or what's the problem basically? What's the situation? And look, that's why I'm kind of really skeptical on all this, and I understand that yes, everything is strong, everything is rallying, but when let's say everything is at that much high, I mean, you've seen like in a relatively short period of time, or let's say 2 months, we have a strong rally like this, and you right now want to enter into stocks, and you're thinking, are you going to do it now at the peak? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think that we need a bit of a correction in order. Let's say if let's say this wants to continue rallying, that's fine. I really don't mind. It's just that, do you really want me to enter into stocks at the peak here? I don't know. I don't think so. I would rather wait, and I would rather jump into something else than jump into at the all-time high and start buying. Okay, yes, like I said, in the medium term, maybe it will go further north, but in the short run, I'm struggling to find justification for me right now to start jumping into stocks at these peaks. So, you know. So yeah, that's why I'm looking forward towards that correction. I really am, but I get at the same time. I mean, we're not seeing any reversal signals yet, so we need something to please the bears, to wake up the bears, so but at the moment I think the market is just resilient, and just we have like wars, we have oil problems, like we have a potential deflation now issue, so all these things, I mean, it seems like the market ignores that and just adjusted, or there is something else in the background where we don't know yet. So, because like I said, for me, the question is like, why suddenly are you so aggressively willing to cut rates in a short period of time? Let's say in a half a year period of time. I mean, what's the problem? Okay, we are you afraid of really deflation right now? I mean, you're afraid of a strong economic slowdown? Okay, look, let's see. Of course, let's see how everything will unroll. But in the moment, looking at the Dow here, I mean, that is just, it reached my target. Fair enough. It reached my target. My target was the all-time high. It overshot it yesterday. So at some point, I'm really looking for a bit of a correction here to the downside. But at the moment, I am not really getting it. So I'm just observing the price action. Am I going into stocks? No, not really, honestly, because what's the point right now to go at the peak? I don't see the point. A correction is needed for sure. S&P 500, similar story. Yes, we have not reached the all-time high on the S&P yet. Okay, that's fine, but do we have to? I mean, that's like just an extra nice bonus. I mean, to the rally that we already had. I mean, if you're really greedy, okay, that means maybe it's not the place for you. But look, we already had a decent rally. I mean, do you need an all-time high? Okay, on the S&P as well. Okay, if that's the case, let's see. Okay, for now, let's target that. But I am just observing the price action, and I'm just really gonna watch this one. Like I said, maybe it will correct back down. If it corrects back down and then kind of remains above the this upside line, then yes, then of course another drift lower here could be possible. NASDAQ 100. So there we go. We reached my target as well, the 16,659. I talked about this, if you remember, yesterday and the day before yesterday. I said that, look, yes, the all-time high is around here, near the 16,767, but on my chart here. But we may reach this hurdle first, the high of the 28th of December of 2021. We've reached that. Mission accomplished. Team, are we heading home? I would say no. We're not playing around anymore, but we're just gonna keep an eye on. Like, we're just gonna grab that beer and sit in the corner and just observe what's happening. At the moment, like I said, again, the same story. Are you gonna buy at the peak? It might still go higher. Don't get me wrong. It still has room for like an all-time to reach the all-time high, but is that like, this is kind of, I think that this would be the idea to please those who have missed the rally and now they're just trying to capture something, right? So yeah, let's wait and see, guys. At the moment, like I said, we're near this all-time high. I mean, at the moment, I'm just observing the price action. My target got reached, and yeah, that's it. I'm chilling. The German index DAX. I mean, that one is just an animal. Honestly, look at this. I mean, just non-stop. Why is this going so much higher? I really don't see any logic. Why? Because look, yesterday we had some data from EU. We got the industrial production numbers from the Eurozone, and those, like, honestly, those declined, and those are in negative territory. So, and they came out worse than expected. So yes, positive. Maybe they're thinking also that, hey, look, ECB what is going to do what the Fed's going to do, and also going to go for rate cuts. So look, don't forget to keep an eye on the BOE today, because in a few hours we'll get the Bank of England interest rate decision, and then we'll get the an hour and 15 minutes later we'll get the ECB interest rate decision as well. So also that's going to be interesting. There are no surprises, like the rates might just stay the same. It's just that the press conference was going to be interesting of Christine Lagarde is going to be like half an hour later, and yeah, and it's we're gonna see what she has to say and how she will talk, because will she follow the same kind of style of speaking of as the Fed's Jerome Powell. That's like I said, that's my how to say it. I think that's what is gonna happen. So. And they will also say, like, yes, maybe we have reached our targets and we see now inflation going to the downside, so we might consider rate cuts also in 2024. So, really, wow, so unexpected. But of course, I'm just guessing. Let's see if that's going to happen or not. But at this point, look, it is just, it is crazy here. I mean, the German index DAX, it is crazy. It is just, I don't know what it wants to do, where it wants to go further. Look, I will try to see if we can actually draw a Fibonacci extension here and see if any of this makes sense. Let me just grab this one. You grab the first reversal here, and then you go to the peak, and then you go to the other big correction back down. And we've reached the 17,060 zone. So basically, we kind of reached the 50% on the Fibonacci extension. Now, the next target, and is this correct? Let me just see if this is actually making any sense. Let's see if this makes any sense from this drop here and all the way here and all the way right there. So... okay, this doesn't make sense. No, so, okay, right. That means that we need to bring this one back. Let me just put this back on the chart. There we go. And yeah, let me adjust very quickly. So this one goes here, this one here, and this one goes right here. So look, the 61.8 is currently sitting at around 17,624. 17,624. I mean, we've just hit the 17,000 mark, and we've created a massive gap here. So the gap needs to be filled. In general, according to all the TA rules, eventually the gap gets filled. Now, does it happen straight away? Does it happen later on? I mean, doesn't matter. Eventually it gets filled. However, we never know the time span, so we don't know that. So that's why you need to be a little bit more on the careful side for now. So long story short, if you're looking for some higher levels, maybe, yes, we could still go for some higher levels, of course. But at this point, again, like I said, are you going to buy at all-time highs? I mean, this was the previous all-time high right here. No, sorry, not this one. I think it was, where's that? DAX, just a sec, etc. DAX. There we go, DAX index. So yes, actually no, that was correct. Why am I jumping around so much? No, that was the all-time high. That was the previous all-time high right here near the 16,615 zone, something like that. We cleared it, and now the question is, can we see a further move north? Well, so far it's going there, but as I said, will there be a lot of buying interest around there? I don't know. I really don't know. So for now, of course, I'm just I know I'm the person right now with the glass half empty kind of situation, but yeah, you know what? This is just, like I said, this is just unreal. And well, sorry, it's real, but it's happening. But oh, excuse me. Apologies for that. But look, 17% in kind of 2-month period, right? So yeah, I mean, that is quite spectacular, I would say. Some sort of a correction is needed, but yes, I mean, when we'll get that, I'm struggling to find that, because the bears are still deep in and are still asleep. But maybe the grounds will shake and the bear will wake up a little bit earlier. But at the moment, I would say just let's continue observing the price action. Just bear with me one moment. I'll disappear for a little bit. I'll be right back. And I am back. I just had to clear up my nose a little bit. So the FTSE 100. So yes, as I said, keep your eyes on the BOE today. Are we going to get a surprise? No, I mean, it's going to stay probably the same with the same interest rate. Is it currently sitting at what? No, wait, just a sec. Something. 5.25. Sorry. 5.25. Yes, something that I am keeping a close eye on. So, again, the same probably game plan. They will keep the rates the same. Potentially saying that maybe they will go into rate cuts next year. The only problem is actually if they say that, their inflation number in UK is still kind of a little bit on the higher side, so 4.6. So it's kind of let's say, I mean, it's sitting only behind Australia, which has 5.4, and maybe that's why we are not seeing too big of a moves in ASX 200. I mean, okay, yesterday we had a big move, but kind of was just a follow-up to what happened in the US. And Australia's inflation, like I said, is still high, so they have a situation where the interest rate is still lower than the inflation number. So from all the developed countries. But okay, look, we'll see how that develops. But at the moment, we're focusing on UK, the FTSE 100 here, and again, technically speaking, from the technical side. Yes, we broke the downside line, so the next target is the upper side of the rising channel, which could get tested. At the moment, I'm going to continue targeting that. And like I said, keep your eyes on the BOE today. US dollar, there we go. Exactly to the downside, because again, the market bulls, the dollar bulls did not like the idea of future rate cuts in next year, and so aggressive rate cuts, or should I say relatively aggressive rate cuts. So yes, I mean, we saw a decline, we saw a drift lower, and yes, my target got reached. I said that if we do break this upside line, my next target will be the 103.58, then 103.21 zone, and then maybe the 103.07, and we reached all that. So, and we not only that, we reached my other target here, which is the lowest point of November, near the 102.38 zone. That's something that I'm going to be keeping a close eye on. In order for me to go lower, a drop below that area is required for me. This upside line can go, but I think I will reuse it. I'll recycle it, and I will use it this way. So as a downside line. Again, it's a little bit of a tentative downside line, but look, a break of this downside line is still needed. So I would still get comfortable with the upside if we do push above all my EMAs here on the daily chart, and then yes, more buyers here could join in. Let's jump into gold. Guess who popped yesterday on weaker dollar? There we go. Gold reversing sharply. Look, it came very close to testing my target. I mean, I was aiming for that 1964 zone, something like that, 65 area, and it came close to that, reached the 74 zone, and then reversed sharply to the upside. So look, at the moment, I am gonna redo this chart a little bit, because previously I had the different scenario here, but now I want to remove everything and start fresh. Now, look, we are back above the psychological 2000 zone. And as I already mentioned several times, looking at this bigger picture here, there is a chance to see some higher levels going into the future. But again, a confirmation push above the 2081 zone is required. This way I will then target the area somewhere around the 2200, 2300 maybe, and we'll go from there. So that's my kind of a bit of a longer term view on gold. However, from the shorter term perspective, look, we have now established some key support areas like these ones right here. I'll just put them on the chart. So these are our potential targets, and at the same time, like I said, we're on the upside. We're also looking at some higher levels here, but it's the same 2081, so nothing new. At the moment, I would say this way. Given that we are in a difficult spot at the moment, I would say let's wait and see with gold, because I would, at this point, I will allow it to walk. I will allow it to live and breathe and do whatever it wants. And once I see it, let's say maybe giving me some sort of a sign of a reversal, maybe pushing back below the 2009-10 zone right here, or maybe even dropping below the 50-day EMA. Let me just put that on the chart here. That's where, yes, I mean, maybe I'll get a little bit more excited with the downside, and I will aim for that 100 and the 200-day EMAs. Now, with the upside as well, like I said, it's really difficult to talk about the upside unless maybe we start examining something around here. Let me just put this on the chart, somewhere around this 2040 zone, which continues to act as a good area of resistance. Now, if we do pop and stay above it, then yes, of course, this opens the door towards that 2081 zone. But again, are we going to go there straight away, or are we going to actually correct back down first again? Like, I mean, just maybe go back to that 200-day EMA, test it, and then decide what to do, next. So look, that's why I'm saying I'm getting a little bit cautious with this, and I'm watching that 2040 zone, and if we can get that nice clearance of that one, then yes, slowly I will aim further north. But again, let's be a little bit more on the careful side. Let's keep an eye on this fella as well. Silver, very quickly on this. Yes, reverse. So there's not much to say here, but the fact that we pushed back over this upside line, yes, I mean, that force created more positivity, and we've cleared this highlighted zone. As I said before, this highlighted zone is roughly between the 23.56 and 23.70. So yes, we cleared it, we stayed above it. So in a way, there is a good chance to see a further move north here. So that's why I will, for now, I will just continue aiming higher, and as long as we remain above this highlighted zone. If we start falling back below it, I'll take a neutral stand, and then I'll keep an eye on this upside line again. Platinum, something that you probably don't look at very often. Oh, I just noticed that I did not update my update my description, and yes, bear with me one moment, just a sec. I did not do that, so just a second. I will update this very quickly, because otherwise it will be saved without the description, without the instruments that I'm going to be talking about. So yes, I mean, just bear with me one moment, guys. It's going to be very quick. So just a few adjustments here, because I need to kind of show that, look, these are the things that I'm talking about during the session. For example, somebody who doesn't want to waste time, and they just want to jump into a certain instrument, which I believe is quite useful. I mean, sometimes you don't want to watch the whole show. Maybe you don't have time, so because I'm running it for an hour. So I mean, so whoever is tuning in right now and like watching this one from the beginning, I mean, for the full hour, honestly, respect. Thank you very much for your support. That really means a lot to me. Yes, I hope. Well, I hope I'm gonna continue seeing you here. So but yeah, let me just quickly put this in the chart here, in the description. There we go. Boom. Fantastic. So there we go. So now it's sitting there, and people will be able to see it. So coming back to the commodities, specifically precious metal, specifically platinum. Look, we had a beautiful rebound from this 911 zone. I said to you that, look, my upside scenario will come on a break above this territory, above this area between the 944, 952 levels. And if that gets cleared, then yes, certainly more buyers here could join in, and we could go from there. In terms of the downside, if you're looking for some lower levels on that one, then yes, a break of this upside line could just do the trick for a few more sellers, and then we could aim for this level. I mean, this one right here, the 890 zone, or maybe even a little bit below that, towards the lowest point of November, or the lowest point of this year so far. Oil, yes, reversing back up here, or at least trying to do so. So look, after we had a nice drop, that's fine, that's all good, everything's looking quite nice. I've drawn this falling channel here idea, and something kind of, honestly, this is getting a little bit annoying, because does that mean that this is more of a maybe no, I thought it was more of a like a falling wedge pattern. This way I could say that, look, these patterns tend to break to the upside, but at the moment, look, now it's the falling channels are also patterns that can break to the upside eventually. But again, either way, a confirmation break of the upper side of this formation is required. But at the moment, look, we've climbed back over the 69.70 zone. Okay. We are still above it, so in a way I will consider maybe a bit of a move back up here, but as long as we continue to trade below the 72.38 zone, then yes, I will continue targeting the downside. Now, in terms of higher levels, well, this is where I need to remove this arrow, and I'll just take a very conservative approach here on oil, actually, and I'll keep an eye on this upper side of the falling channel, and if that gets cleared, at the same time we could break above the 50-day EMA. Natural gas, it's beautiful rebound back up. So of course, weaker dollar helped this commodity to move back up. And okay, yes, look, I mean, so far I would say I'm going to consider maybe a bit of a larger correction here to the upside, because we had a nice reversal from this territory, from this 2.23. So look, I mean, we're still below the downside line, so any move up until this downside line could be classed as a temporary correction before another possible leg of selling, so no surprises there. Now, if you really want to be a little bit more on the safe side, maybe you could, in terms of the downside, what you could do is keep your eyes on the current lowest point of December, near the 2.23 zone, and if that gets cleared, yes, a forthcoming lower low will be confirmed. Sugar, something that you probably don't look at very often, and look, I just wanted to pick up on this one. I talked about this previously. As you can see, by the skewed picture here, I mean, we broke the upside line, we drifted lower, we flirted with this hurdle, we failed to stay above it, and there we go, we drifted nicely to the downside. Now we're at this very interesting spot. I need to adjust my chart, of course, as well, so let me just grab this. I will mark the what is that? Is that the current all-time high? Okay, 28.15. So this is at least the highest point of this year, and I don't think this is the all-time high, but anyway, but this is the highest point of this year, 28.15. We've drifted back to the downside. I would say this way, that if you're looking for some lower levels at this point, I think the best option is to wait and see what's going to happen with this 21.89 zone, because currently I think we are going to be getting a bit of a nice hold up around there. So if that gets cleared and we stay below it, then yes, of course, further moves south are possible, but let's go slowly. Let's not rush into things, because maybe we will end up with something like a range here or something like that, and then we'll go from there. Bitcoin, so there we go, reversed back to the upside, of course, logical, because again we the US dollar fell, but look, I mean, we are still struggling with this hurdle, this 43,000 mark, something like that. So if we do push and stay above it, then yes, great, I will go higher. But at the moment, yeah, it's a little bit on the tricky side. There is still a chance for a drift back down, so I'm not excluding that as long as we remain below the 43,000 mark. Bitcoin Cash, this one, yes, struggling to find a good kind of boost, and yes, it's stuck in between these two trend lines, although the upper side, the downside one got violated recently. So yeah, I wouldn't say maybe it's like stuck. I would say it's just bouncing above this upside support line drawn from the low of the 10th of June of this year. So there is a chance to see a move higher, but for that I need to see a push back above the 245 level right here. But then I'll only aim for the 270 territory, and then I'll take it from there. Ripple, this one is also still struggling with this 0.6296 territory right here. As you can see, it's providing good resistance. Look, if we do fall back below the 50-day EMA, because so far it's kind of providing good support, if we do fall back below it, then yes, I'll consider a move to the downside here, maybe towards this upside support line drawn from the low of the 17th of August. And then I'll go from there. For the upside, a push above this psychological 0.70 territory for me is required. Let's jump into Forex before I run out of time. AUDUSD, of course, obviously popping higher, weaker dollar, helping very nicely here for this pair. And we did kind of push through this downside line, so we are currently sitting above it. So in a way, there is a good strong chance we could see a further move north, especially as long as we stay above the 0.6690. If we start drifting back below it, well, I might just take a bit of a pause. Maybe I will just wait and see, what's happening. How are we feeling and stuff like that. But as long as we stay above this 0.6690 territory, then yes, I will continue targeting the upside. AUDNZD, beautiful. Look, it's working out. I talked about this and I said too that in order for me to go higher, break of this downside line here is needed, because maybe we have ourselves an inverted head and shoulders, and what I'm going to aim for next will be the what's that one? The EMAs, my EMAs, and then maybe this downside line. Well, we reached a few, 2 of my EMAs out of 3. So now my question is, can we reach that downside line right here and give it a test? And then the inverted head and shoulders pattern will be complete. Now, if we jump into NZDCHF, and it's working out nicely. It took us a while, maybe about 2 weeks or something, because I said that once we break the downside line, or when we sometimes break the downside line, we kind of sometimes tend to revisit it from the other side. And we look at these beautiful visits here. We tested once, twice, and then on the third time we rebounded and pushed higher. So this pair now is aiming for that 200-day EMA again. So let's see if we can clear it. If we can, then yes, more buyers here could join in. Look, in this pair, you should keep an eye on as well, and during the European session, because why? Because in about let me just double check, about 40 minutes, is it? Around 40 minutes something, we get the Swiss National Bank interest rate decision. I mean, there's no expectation. I mean, the expectation is for no rate hike as well. No cut, no hike, just the same, keep it the same. But we'll see, of course, the market reaction, how this can we see like the Swiss franc weakening a little bit against its major counterparts. So keep your eyes on that one. If you're trading EURCHF, GBPCHF, USDCHF, okay, with USDCHF, I don't know who's going to be the weaker one, who's going to outpull who, but let's say if it's AUD, NZD, Euro, and GBP, those could maybe push a little bit more to the upside after the interest rate decision of the Swiss National Bank. But of course, with those GBP and Euro, don't forget to keep an eye on the other central banks, the BOE and the ECB today. USDJPY, there we go, beautiful drift lower, and of course, some of you might think that, hey, this is like, that yen buying, that, market is afraid or something. No, it's just pure weakness in the US dollar. And there we go. We dropped below that 144.54 territory. I spoke about that area yesterday, and I said that my next target will be this 141.55. Tick, tick. Fantastic, good result. Now let's just, I would say, wait and sit around and just gonna wait and see what's gonna happen further, because basically at the moment I'm looking at this 141.55. If we do drop and stay below it, then yes, of course I will consider a move further south. 138 zone is the one that I'm watching, but of course before that is the psychological 140 area. USDCAD, this one is interesting because it did push below the 1.3487 zone. I talked about this, and look, I said to you that if we do drop below that 200-day EMA, then which is around the 1.3541, then yes, I'll go lower. We went lower, fantastic. We reached this target, the 1.3487. We cleared it, and now my question is, can we stay below it? If we can, then yes, I will go for the 1.3417. For the upside, I will still take a very conservative approach, and I'll wait for a push above the I'll wait for a push above the 1.36 territory. USDCHF, something that I already mentioned. So look, we're getting a nice reversal here. We're rebound from this territory right here, from this low of the 4th of December near the 0.8676 area. And yep, I'm not saying that. Look, in general, my idea worked out. I talked about this idea and this breakout. So now my question is, can we see something like a move towards this territory? But for that, for this area, for the area near the 0.8555, but for that, we need to see a drop below the 0.8676 zone right there. If we can get that, great. I will consider a move lower. For the upside, a break of this downside line is required, period. GBPUSD, so yes, we're watching the BOE today very, very carefully. Look, we popped above the 1.2615. Okay, that's in a way like a sign of some positivity potentially, but yes, I mean, and by the way, it's kind of in line with the idea that I spoke here previously, so it is working out nicely. So my question is, can we go further north? Can we go towards that 1.2733? I think I need to lower down my ambitions here and just aim for that one first, and then we'll take it from there. Maybe we'll form something of an ascending triangle pattern, but let's wait and see. So at the moment, I'm just going to aim for this, not what I've initially I've put this here on the chart. Okay, that's my ideal scenario, but let's be a little bit more realistic probably, and let's aim for this 1.2733 instead. GBPNZD, beautiful, beautiful test of my territory. I spoke about this as well this week. I said I talked about GBPNZD. So basically 2.0275 was my next target, and that's the lowest point of September, which we managed to reach perfectly. Great. That's not the lowest point of this year. The lowest point of this year was somewhere around here, this 1.88 zone. So you can see, and our highest point was here. So basically, if we judge it from this point perspective, and we look at the Fibonacci and see where we have retraced, how much we have retraced 50%. So, okay, my question now is, can we see a test of this territory? If we can, maybe a bit of a rebound here could be possible. So something like this, but if the 50% retracement here in the Fibonacci gets cleared, then yes, of course, we will aim for that 61.8. But at the moment, I'm keeping a close eye on this whole area right here. This near the 2.0275. Euro Aussie, beautiful move to the downside. I looked at this one a while ago. I need to put this downside line here back in the table. So yeah, we have this downside line, which is something that I'm keeping a close eye on. We cleared the 1.6269 area. This confirms a forthcoming lower low. And of course, this is opening the door towards the lowest point of June, of this year, near the 1.5849. Now I get it; it's a big way a big move to do, because also in between we do have some other obstacles which could be quite good targets. The first one is the 1.61 zone, then the 1.60, the psychological 160 territory, and then so on and so on. So yes, let's keep it probably a little bit more realistic. Maybe let's aim for the 1.61 first, and then the psychological 160. EURJPY, similar story. Look, again, this pair, keep your eyes on it today, because we have the ECB and we have the press conference like half an hour after that. And at the moment, everything's looking quite bearish. I said to you before that this week, when I picked up on this one, we were still here near this downside line. I said, if we break that downside line and we stay above that, then yes, I will go higher. I will go towards my 100 and the 50-day EMAs, and then we'll see. But if we do start falling back below the 200-day EMA, this can kind of open the door to some lower levels. Now, my issue here is that, look, the yen somehow became quite stronger. And this is where I'm coming back to my idea that, look, this cannot go forever. I mean, at some point it will have to reverse, because the stocks will become a little bit too expensive. And maybe this is what, and if we are anticipating a bit of a correction at some point, that's why maybe everybody started jumping into the yen right now, thinking that, hey, I want to be ahead of the game, because eventually that will reverse. The indices will reverse, and everybody then will start jumping into the yen. But I'll be ahead of the game, and that's why I'm going to start buying it now against its major counterparts. And there we go. And I think that, like I said, this could continue drifting lower. My next target is the 153.16, 17 zone, and then we'll go from there. And finally, EURUSD, of course, yesterday had a nice pop here. I talked about this, and I said that if we do pop above the 1.0831, I'll go to the upside. And there we go. We went to the upside. We tested one of my targets, the 1.0887, and yes, we cleared it, but now we're struggling to stay above this. Okay, that's very interesting. So if we do push again above it and stay above it, then yes, I'll aim for this downside line drawn from the high of the 18th of July. But if we somehow drift back down, well, actually, if we start drifting back below the 1.0831, I will maybe consider a bit of a move lower, but then, of course, I'll keep an eye on my EMAs, and if those get cleared, then yes, I will consider a move further south towards maybe this upside line drawn from the low of the 3rd of October. And then we'll go from there. So at this point, like I said, I am watching this idea. I'm watching this area, and I'm keeping an eye on this 1.0831. And if we do drop back below it, then yes, I will consider a move to the downside. So guys, that's it for this session. I really hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I really appreciate your time, guys, your views, your rocket ships, your comments, everything. I really appreciate that. So thank you very much. If you want to catch me tomorrow morning, as always, 7 o'clock GMT time. But as always, guys, for now, I keep on saying the same thing. Stay safe. Have your stop losses in place. Risk only what you can afford to lose. Don't overtrade, and everything will be fine. And keep your eyes today on the other 3 central bank decisions. I mean, maybe not as we're not going to see as big moves as during the Fed, but I think that still it will be decent moves, because again, those are the last meetings for this year. Now, thank you very much, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. If you want to continue to please the trading gods, subscribe to our channel for a blessing.